Hello, welcome to Bob's Dungeon. My name is Bob, I'll be your host. And welcome to October, what is commonly referred to as the spooky season. And last year, through October, I looked at nothing but vampire books. This year, I don't really have an overall theme, except for the books and stuff I'm going to look at are going to be horror themed. So I figure we kick things off with a list of horror RPGs that you should probably check out. And I've got 5 in my main list and some honorable mentions. So let's go ahead and get things started off with my honorable mentions. My first honorable mention is a weird one, but it works. Lamentations of the Flame Princess. And as you look at the title, it says Weird Fantasy Roleplay. And the publishers of this book insist that it is a horror fantasy game. And I can see that. There's a lot of horror elements that they bring to the table with a lot of their supplements. And I like Lamentations of the Flame Princess, so I'm putting it in my honorable mentions. The next one is another OSR game, Mörk Borg. This one has definitely got a horror theme going on. Kind of a heavy metal theme too, but it's the end of the world, and everybody knows it's the end of the world. The signs are coming. It's dark, it's brooding, and it's extremely lethal, so I'm putting it as an honorable mention for my horror games. The next one I've not done a video for yet, and I'm just putting it in honorable mentions because, well, you'll see. It's Horror, the role-playing game. I've read the core rule book, and the biggest problem with the core rule book is it doesn't really do a lot with horror, except say it's horror themed. You need the supplement for it to be horror themed, which I got. The Diner, which gives you horror scenarios for your game. And I haven't actually read the Diner yet, but I've read the core book. After I read the Diner, I'm probably going to do a regular review on them, so I'm just giving it an honorable mention for right now. The next one, getting more into horror, is Wraith the Oblivion 2nd Edition. Now, Wraith is one of my favorite World of Darkness games. And the reason I'm only giving it an honorable mention is because Wraith is a little difficult to play. And the fact that you can't readily interact with the real world. You have to use special powers and so forth, activate abilities in order to interact with the living world. Unless, of course, you use the Risen book with it, which will give you a whole new dimension, give you a new way to play your horror. And most people look at Risen as the Crow. I sometimes like to look at it as Jason Voorhees. So there's that. My last honorable mention is, of course, the standard generic role-playing games. GURPS, the D6 system, Savage Worlds, rules that are there that you can use and put any story or game you want to. So you could easily run a horror game using these. And there are horror books specifically for them. But I'm just giving them an honorable mention. So now we'll get into my list proper. My 5 horror role-playing games for you to play this spooky season. The first one we got is The World of Darkness, which is now referred to as The Chronicles of Darkness. And this one is a good book. It's a good game for running a horror game, where you make up humans and have them entering the world of horror and having things happen to them, whether they be supernatural or not. And I've run a few games set like that, and it's really good for that. You don't have to have the vampires or the werewolves. You can just do ghosts or whatever else you can come up with. My next horror game for you to try out this spooky season is Blood Dark Thirst. I've talked about this game multiple times, but I really like it. It's a vampire game, and the rules are really light and simple. So you can add what you need to add what you want to add, and it just works out so well every time I've run it. My next one is a neat one. All Flesh Must Be Eaten. This is a zombie role-playing game. And if you're into zombies, this is a really good book to get. There is a newer edition in this called All Flesh Must Be Eaten Revised, which actually gives you D20 rules for the game. And one of the neat parts about this is it's got several different rules for you to use to play this game inside the book. So you can pick and choose what you want. Got a lot of stuff, a lot of settings you can use that they call worlds in hell. And it's a really good game if you're into zombies. My next one is a little bit weird. It's not a role-playing game itself. It's a supplement, but it's for Lamentations of the Flame Princess. And this is the random esoteric creature generator for classic fantasy role-playing games and their modern simicon. Now, what this book is a book for you to build monsters with. Big problem with a lot of role-playing games, the fantasy ones and stuff, is there's a lot of players out there that'll read through the monster manuals, so when you run into something, they'll know the weakness and know how to exploit it. And a lot of people call that metagaming, and they always try to figure out some BS reason as to why they know this stuff. And this will allow you to build monsters that they have no idea what its weaknesses are, because they're brand new monsters. You could actually build a troll through here that looks completely different, or completely the same, however you want to do it. But yet, you've gotten rid of that pesky little fire vulnerability. And maybe its victims become petrified with a bite or something. You know, you can change the monsters up so that each encounter is a brand new thing, and the players have no idea what to expect. You could also build a big bad guy for your final encounter with this, or what have you. It's a really neat book, and I've used it before. So, definitely bring you some horror to your game with The Unknown. My last book, I debated whether to put this on the list or not. Not because of any failing in the book. I love this game. I haven't had a chance to play it yet. But the reason I have not done a video on this book is it uses a really bad word in the title. And I try to keep things as low-key as I can. In real life, I do swear a lot, but I keep it to a minimum on the channel because I don't want to be accused of teaching someone's kids bad words, because some people may watch my videos with kids in the room. But for a bit of Halloween fun, we're going to include this book on my list. This book is called Real Fucking Monsters. And I would love to do a full video on this book. If you would like to see a full video on it, let me know and I'll see what I can do. The cover made me have to buy this book. On the front, you got the Twilight thing going on with the brooding vampire, the girl, and the buff werewolf guy. And on the back, the vampire has turned into a bat monster, the werewolf has turned into a full-on wolf monster, and they've ripped the girl apart. And a big bloody mess. So, that was a selling point for me when I saw this. But this book, you make up your own monster, whether it be a vampire, a werewolf, a demon, or a creature from the Black Lagoon, whatever your mind can come up with. They've got some rules in here for you, some different paths for you to follow and stuff. And it's not a game meant for real long-term play. And basically, in the end, your monster is going to die. You know, that's the way of monster movies, monster stories. The monster usually gets killed in the end. And your job with your character is to make your story as memorable as possible. You know, whether you burn bright and die soon, or you live long and spread it out over time. And it gives you some really good ideas for running that kind of game. But don't look for a happy ending in this game. There is no cure for you. You're a monster. You're going to die in the end. Might as well live it up while you can. So, that's my list to get started for the spooky season. Some horror games for you to look up and get into. And hopefully this has given you some ideas of things you can do or look through for your spooky time of year role-playing games. Thank you for joining me at a look at these books, and hopefully you'll join me next time where we'll talk about something else. Bye.